Welcome to ZoomInData, your go-to channel for in-depth data engineering, analytics, and modern cloud technology interview preparation. In this video, we dive deep into the top 25 SQL endpoints in Microsoft Fabric interview questions for 2025. Perfect for data engineers, analysts, and anyone preparing for Fabric Lakehouse, data warehouse, or SQL analytics roles. We cover core concepts, TSQL support, integration with Lakehouse and Power BI, performance, concurrency, security, metadata sync, optimization, and best practices, all explained in clear, interview-ready technical language to help you confidently ace your next interview. 1. What are SQL endpoints in Microsoft Fabric? SQL endpoints, SQL analytics endpoints, are automatically provisioned, read-only TSQL interfaces for querying Delta tables in Lakehouse, warehouse, or mirrored databases within Fabric workspaces. They leverage the high-performance Fabric data warehouse engine to provide low-latency SQL access without data movement or duplication. Each workspace shares a unified SQL endpoint for all lakehouses, enabling seamless querying across multiple items via TDS protocol. They support creation of views, functions, and object-level security while exposing underlying OneLake data. 2. How do SQL endpoints provide data access? SQL endpoints expose Delta tables as relational tables queryable via standard TSQL and tools like SSMS, Azure Data Studio, or Power BI. Connection uses Entra ID authentication over TDS endpoint with workspace-level scoping. Automatic metadata discovery syncs schema changes from Lakehouse tables, with manual refresh or REST API options available. Read-only access ensures separation from write operations handled by Spark or pipelines. 3. How do SQL endpoints integrate with Lakehouse? SQL endpoints are auto-generated for every Lakehouse, providing a SQL view over Delta tables in the Tables folder. Changes in Lakehouse tables trigger background metadata sync to reflect in the endpoint schema. Supports querying shortcuts and external Delta tables for unified access across sources. Enables hybrid workflows combining Spark writes with TSQL reads and views. 4. How do SQL endpoints support TSQL queries? Full TSQL surface area includes select, joins, aggregations, window functions, and SHOWPLAN_XML for execution plans. Supports creation of views, table-valued functions, and stored procedures for modular querying. OpenROWSET and copy into enable ad hoc file queries and ingestion from OneLake paths. Limitations exclude certain DDL, DML, focused on analytical querying with warehouse engine optimizations. 5. How do SQL endpoints handle concurrency? Leverages Fabric capacity autoscaling and workload management for high concurrent query execution. Shared workspace endpoint distributes load across multiple Lakehouse queries efficiently. Throttling and smoothing prevent overload during peak usage. Monitoring hub tracks concurrent sessions and resource contention. 6. How do SQL endpoints manage performance optimization? Automatic statistics maintenance and histogram collection inform query optimizer decisions. Delta Lake optimizations like Optimize, Z-order, and V-order enhance file pruning and scans. Partitioning and clustering reduce data scanned for targeted queries. Adaptive execution and caching accelerate repeated analytical workloads. 7. How do SQL endpoints enforce security? Entra ID authentication with Workspace RBAC controls endpoint access. Object-level permissions via grant, revoke on tables, views, and schemas. Row-level, RLS, and column-level security propagate from OneLake policies. Sensitivity labels and purview integration ensure compliance. 8. How do SQL endpoints integrate with Power BI? Direct Lake Mode uses SQL endpoints for metadata discovery and fallback querying in semantic models. Connection strings enable live querying from Power BI desktop or service. Views and materialized tables in endpoints serve as optimized sources for reports. Cross-database joins support unified analytics across Fabric items. 9. How do SQL endpoints handle metadata? Automatic discovery scans Delta logs for schema changes with background refresh. Manual sync button or REST API forces immediate metadata updates post-Spark operations. Supports schema evolution via Delta features like column mapping. Purview catalogs endpoint metadata for enterprise lineage. 10. How do SQL endpoints support stored procedures? TSQL stored procedures enable reusable logic for complex analytical processing. Execution via query editor or external tools with parameter support. Integration with pipelines for orchestrated calls. Read-only constraints limit to non-modifying operations. 11. How do SQL endpoints manage transactions? Read consistent snapshots ensure queries see stable data during concurrent writes. Limited transactional support focused on analytical isolation. Cross-database transactions within Workspace for joined queries. Parquet immutability enables fast rollbacks if needed. 12. How do SQL endpoints handle indexing? No traditional indexes. Relies on Delta clustering and Z-order for data skipping. Automatic statistics replace index tuning for optimizer guidance. V-order write optimization improves compression and scan efficiency. Partitioning acts as primary access path optimization. 13. How do SQL endpoints support views? Standard and materialized views abstract complex logic for consumers. Views created via TSQL with security inheritance. Materialized views, where supported, pre-compute for performance. Enable semantic layering without data duplication. 14. How do SQL endpoints manage query execution plans? SHOWPLAN_XML provides detailed physical and logical plans. Catalyst-like optimizer with cost-based decisions and statistics. Adaptive query execution adjusts plans dynamically. Monitoring Hub visualizes historical plans and bottlenecks. 15. How do SQL endpoints handle workload management? Capacity smoothing and throttling balance concurrent queries. Priority-based execution in shared environments. Autoscaling bursts resources during peaks. Alerts on long-running or resource-intensive queries. 16. How do SQL endpoints ensure data consistency? Snapshot isolation from Delta ACID transactions during reads. Metadata sync maintains schema alignment with underlying tables. Idempotent views prevent inconsistent interpretations. Lineage tracing validates end-to-end consistency. 17. How do SQL endpoints support incremental queries? Filtering on partitioned columns enables incremental scans. Change data feed integration for delta-aware querying. Window functions support incremental aggregations, combined with pipelines for scheduled incremental refreshes. 18. How do SQL endpoints integrate with notebooks? %SQL Magic executes TSQL directly in notebooks. Cross-engine queries join Spark and SQL endpoint data. Views created in endpoints consumable as data frames. Hybrid development with Spark writes and SQL validation. 19. How do SQL endpoints support real-time analytics? Low latency reads on freshly synced Delta tables post-ingestion. Integration with event streams for near real-time landing. Direct Lake fallback for sub-second power by queries. Limited streaming, best for near real-time batch. 20. How do SQL endpoints scale with demand? Serverless autoscaling via Fabric capacity units. Shared endpoint handles workspace-wide concurrency. Bursting for peak analytical workloads. No manual provisioning. Scales with capacity tier. 21. How do SQL endpoints handle error management? Detailed error messages with stack traces in Query Editor. Monitoring logs capture failures and durations. Retry logic in client tools for transient issues. Alerts integrate with notification channels. 22. How do SQL endpoints manage query caching? Result caching for repeated queries in sessions. Statistics caching accelerates plan generation. In-memory, SSD caching for hot data access. Automatic invalidation on metadata changes. 23. How do SQL endpoints optimize resource utilization? Column pruning and predicate pushdown reduce scanned data. Dynamic allocation based on query complexity. Compaction and vacuuming maintain efficient layouts. Monitoring identifies inefficient queries for tuning. 24. How do SQL endpoints support cost management? Pay-for-use capacity model charges only active query time. Autoscaling minimizes idle resource consumption. Incremental patterns reduce overall compute needs. Reserved capacities for predictable workloads. 25. What are best practices for SQL endpoints usage? Run, optimize and vacuum regularly on Delta tables for sync efficiency. Use views and security roles for governed consumption. Trigger metadata refresh post-Spark operations via API. Monitor performance. Apply partitioning and clustering early. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you prepare for your Microsoft Fabric interview, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your network. Don't forget to subscribe to ZoomInData and hit the bell icon for more in-depth data engineering, analytics, and cloud technology interview prep videos every week. Drop your questions or topic requests in the comments. Let's zoom in on your success together.